What if I told you that in New York City, the sky itself is for sale? That's right, not the buildings, not the land, but the empty air above them. Welcome to one of the most fascinating, lucrative, and little-known secrets in urban development, New York City's air rights. It's a system that lets developers literally buy the sky to make towers taller, shadows longer, and skylines richer. Today, we'll uncover how this invisible trade reshaped Manhattan's skyline, fueled billion-dollar deals, and created the city we see today, and how it could decide what New York looks like tomorrow. So sit tight, because after this, you'll never look up at the city the same way again. What exactly are air rights? Let's start with the basics. When you own a building, you don't just own the structure, you also own the space above it. That invisible space has a name: air rights. In legal terms, it's the right to use, lease, or sell the volume of space above your property, the air, for development. It's based on an old legal idea that dates back centuries: cuius est solum, ius est usquiad caelum. He who owns the soil owns up to the heavens. But as cities like New York grew taller, that concept became complicated. In 1916, New York introduced the first zoning resolution in the United States to control how high and wide buildings could grow and how much sunlight streets received. That zoning law limited the floor area ratio, or FAR, a formula that determines how much floor space a building can have compared to its lot size. So, if your building doesn't reach its full height potential, let's say you're allowed 20 stories, but your building is only 10, you have extra air rights. And guess what? You can sell them to someone who wants to build taller. That's the magic trick. You can't see it, but those rights are worth millions. The invisible market above Manhattan. Over time, this created an invisible marketplace, a real estate stock exchange in the sky. Developers realized they could buy unused air rights from neighbors and combine them to build towers that soared far beyond normal limits. But there's a catch. You can't just buy air rights from anywhere in the city. They must come from adjacent lots, or, in some cases, across the street, unless the city has special zoning districts that allow broader transfers. That's where transfer districts come in places like Midtown East, Hudson Yards, and downtown Brooklyn. Developers can pool air rights from multiple properties, creating entire vertical neighborhoods. It's complex, legal, and lucrative, and it's how billionaires' towers started to dominate the skyline. Famous buildings built on air rights. Let's look at some real-life examples of how this system shaped New York. First up, 432 Park Avenue, one of the most recognizable skyscrapers on the planet. That ultra-skinny, 1,396-foot tower didn't just rise by design, it rose by purchase. Developers bought air rights from multiple neighboring buildings to gain the extra height they needed. The result, luxury apartments that sold for up to $95 million perched above the clouds. Then there's 157, another glass giant on 57th Street. Its developers reportedly spent over $50 million buying air rights from nearby properties like art studios and hotels, all so they could add more floors. And how about Central Park Tower, the tallest residential building in the world? Its developers at Excel used every inch of purchased air rights they could get their hands on, stacking them like invisible Lego bricks to reach over 1,500 feet tall. For developers, every extra floor means more penthouses, more prestige, and millions in profit. The billion-dollar sky, so just how valuable are air rights in Manhattan's prime locations? They can sell for anywhere between $200 to $800 per square foot, sometimes even more. In 2016, CBS sold its unused air rights for a staggering $760 million to a developer planning a supertall tower, and across Central Park South, known as Billionaires Row, the combined value of transferred air rights has exceeded $1 billion. That's not an exaggeration. The air above Manhattan is literally worth more than gold. You can't buy more land in Manhattan, but you can buy the sky, the shadows and the backlash, but not everyone sees air rights as a success story. As these skyscrapers rose higher, so did public frustration. Towers like 432 Park and Central Park Tower cast long shadows over Central Park, shading playgrounds, lawns, and even parts of the zoo. Critics say this vertical capitalism has turned New York into a playground for the ultra-rich, while ordinary residents lose sunlight and character in their neighborhoods. Preservationists worry that air rights encourage developers to demolish historic buildings just to unlock more vertical space. And urban planners argue it widens inequality, giving billion-dollar developers more tools to build higher, while small property owners get pushed out. It's a visual battle between history and height. Landmark air rights. A city's lifeline, yet air rights have also saved some of New York's greatest landmarks. When Grand Central Terminal faced demolition in the 1970s, its owners sold the building's unused air rights to nearby developers. That deal helped fund its preservation. Similarly, St. Patrick's Cathedral and the New York Public Library have both used air rights transfers to finance renovations and maintenance, keeping these icons alive without taxpayer money. So yes, sometimes selling air keeps history standing. The future, Manhattan's next frontier. The future of NYC's skyline is still being written not on paper, but in airspace contracts. Projects like Hudson Yards were made possible through massive air rights transfers from nearby rail yards. And the Midtown East rezoning plan opened up 78 blocks for taller towers, allowing landmarks like St. Bartholomew's Church to sell air rights citywide. In the next decade, expect to see new towers rising along 42nd Street, Park Avenue, and even around Times Square, all powered by this invisible trade. Future Skyline 2035, powered by air rights. Some urban futurists even imagine a system of air bonds, where investors could trade rights like stocks. If that happens, the sky truly becomes Wall Street's next frontier. What it means for you, so why should you care about air rights? Because they affect everything: the city's light, density, skyline, and even housing affordability. Each new tower changes the urban experience, the way wind flows, the way the sun hits the street, even how neighborhoods feel, whether you're a New Yorker or just someone who loves architecture. Understanding air rights helps you understand how power, money, and design shape the places we live. So the next time you walk through Midtown, look up, because somewhere above you, a multi-million-dollar deal might be floating in thin air. In New York City, the sky isn't the limit, it's the marketplace. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed exploring the secret world of New York's air rights, hit that like button. Subscribe to Factual Fuel and turn on the bell, because next time, we're diving below the streets to uncover the tunnels that power Manhattan. Until then, keep your eyes on the skyline.